get a cup of coffee at Starbucks, ordered something you needed off of Amazon, or headed through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru and thought about what social issues you might be supporting while you did? My guess is no. But many of these major corporations have aligned themselves with sometimes controversial stances on important political and social issues. Americans want their brands to stand for something, according to a 2014 Adweek article. And many do. In 2012, the Starbucks CEO announced that it was supporting gay marriage and the legislation around that in Washington. Other brands like Amazon and Ben & Jerry's have done the same. On the other hand, popular chain Chick-fil-A has made it clear that the company supports traditional marriage and is anti-gay marriage. Along the same lines, craft store chain Hobby Lobby stands behind conservative religious values and therefore refuses to provide birth control for its employees. It's becoming the norm for these kind of large companies to weigh in on social and political issues. You might be wondering, does the public care enough about this to actually consider this when they're deciding where to shop and who to support? Well, according to an article called The Presentation of CEOs in the Press, the answer is yes. Which means this activity definitely has the power to influence the financial outcome of a company. But should companies really be getting involved in and taking stances on these kind of issues? Some may say no, especially from a business perspective. But corporate social advocacy is important for 3 reasons. First, all business activity is human activity. Second, today's consumers hold their corporations ethically accountable. And third, large businesses can and should want to make a large positive influence in society. Some people will say that business should stay separate from politics and ethics and social stances because business exists simply to make a profit and provide customers with a product or service, and that's it. But there's more to it. Because all businesses are made up of people, that makes all of their activity human activity. And that brings along with it a whole new set of implications. Humans are responsible for making moral and ethical decisions, and this is especially the case for big business, because the activity of corporations has such a huge impact on the population where it operates. Corporate social advocacy comes out of the concept of corporate social responsibility, which says that companies who do good and prove that they're conscientious and socially aware will be more successful, according to a 2018 Times of Malta article. Corporate social responsibility suggests that companies should contribute more than just financially to society. They should also be engaged in activism and giving back too. This idea of human activity is also an explanation for why companies feel obligated to hold themselves accountable, or the public will hold them accountable, when they do wrong, when they lie or make mistakes or act immorally. It's a reason why they make amends. So for example, Uber came under fire for a harassment scandal and sexism within their company at large. So in March of 2015, they announced a partnership with UN Women to create an additional 1 million jobs for women, female drivers by 2020. Another example is the BP oil spill of 2010. Immediately after the accident, BP committed over $500 million throughout 10 years to help research for the Gulf of Mexico initiative, which was an attempt to apologize and hold themselves accountable for the harm that they caused. So not only are businesses responsible for behaving ethically, they also should want to orient their organization to be socially engaged because that's what today's consumers are demanding. Today's consumers want to align their personal values with those of the companies they support. Millennials especially give weight to social activity when they decide what brands to use and where they want to shop and work, according to the Times of Malta. Taking a stance might isolate some people and cause a company to lose some business from those who oppose that stance, but transparency about their views is ultimately what's the most important. It also can help to establish a company mission, vision, culture, and identity, and this kind of brand creation is necessary for companies in this day and age, especially with social media spreading ideas so quickly and giving consumers a new platform to demand accountability. In fact, it's been shown that the majority of Americans now believe corporations should engage in dialogue surrounding controversial issues, according to the Global Strategy Group. When corporate stances are consistent with an individual's own beliefs, those in the 18 to 25 age group are more likely to demonstrate an increased intention to purchase from a company, and this percent increases as large as 20%, according to a 2015 Forbes article. An additional 2014 study published in the Public Relations Journal finds that the greater agreement with a corporate stance results in a greater intention to purchase. So it seems overall like Americans would rather their brand stand for something than to avoid these hot topics altogether. Companies also have the ability to affect really positive change through advocacy, and they should feel obligated to do so. Companies can have a large impact on the environment, both good and bad. Large corporations have the potential to severely damage the kind of environment where they're operating, and so it speaks volumes when they utilize their impact to effect really positive change. Patagonia is an example of a company who is actively dedicated to fighting environmental crises we face. According to their website, they're doing this through sustainable processes, donating sales proceeds to environmental organizations, employee activism, and resource conservation campaigns. Their entire company is oriented towards this mission. This relates to a quote from Global Strategy Group's Tanya Meck, where she advises that the best way to take a position on an issue and gain approval from the American public is to tie your stance to your core business and, better yet, follow through on your words with actions. Large corporations also have substantial amounts of money they can use to enter political conversation. Among those who are making a statement using their financial influence are the dozen or so companies who cut ties with the NRA after the recent school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Delta, for one, ended the recent discount it had offered to NRA members flying to their annual meeting. And more broadly, society should be calling on these companies, as so many already do, to put their excess profits towards society's problems, whether it be poverty, education, or inequality. So if these companies have all this incredible potential in their hands, why shouldn't they utilize it? Millennials are more socially and politically aware than ever before, so it makes sense that they're going to demand transparency about the choices and positions of companies they're giving their hard-earned money to. Corporate social advocacy should be encouraged because all business activity is human activity at its core. Consumers today want to hold corporations accountable for their positions and choices, and third, advocacy has the potential to make a huge positive impact on society. In addition to supporting this kind of accountability from corporations, inform yourself about the stances and missions of the businesses you shop at and eat at every day. Political issues are guiding public discourse more and more, and so it's your responsibility as a consumer to educate yourself on how large business is shaping this discussion.